Cosmic Mind UV is where you need to be. Let's go and rock this show out. Okay, recent developments in U.S. trade policy have introduced significant tariffs on imports from various. Hold on, let me get this down a little bit. Oh. Various countries, notably China. On April 4th, 2025, the president announced 34% tariff on Chinese imports, escalating the total tariff rate to 54%. China responded with equivalent tariffs on U.S. goods and imposed export controls on critical rare earth elements. These tariffs are anticipated to have widespread economic implications, uh, disproportionately affecting Black communities. Okay, here we go. I don't know if you heard what I said before, but Cosmic Mind UV, man. Cosmic Mind UV. Lost a little signal. We back. All right, recent developments in the U.S. trade policies have introduced, if you heard this, if I already read it, if you heard it the first time, then real quick. Significant tariffs on imports from various countries, notably China, on April 4th, 2025. The president announced 34% tariff on Chinese imports, escalating the total to 54%. China responded with equivalent tariffs on U.S. goods and imposed export controls on critical rare earth elements. Hold on, let me get the. Hold on, hold on. I got you. All right, here we go. Now, these tariffs are anticipated to have widespread economic implications, disproportionately affecting Black communities in the United States. Key areas impact include increased consumer prices. Tariffs typically raise the cost of imported goods, leading to higher prices for consumers. Black households, which often allocate a large portion of their income to essential goods, may feel this impact more acutely. A report indicates that 86% of Black Americans are concerned about tariffs driving up consumer prices, prompting some to adjust their purchasing habits, which is good, which is great. Financial discipline. Housing affordability changes. The construction industry relies heavily on imported materials. Tariffs on items like Canadian softwood lumber and Mexican gypsum are expected to increase construction costs, potentially exacerbating the housing affordability crisis. This could pose additional challenges for Black communities, which already face significant barriers to home ownership. Food security concerns. A substantial portion of the U.S.'s fruits and veggies are imported. Tariffs on these goods could lead to higher grocery prices, intensifying food insecurity in Black neighborhoods, many of which uh, are already situated in food deserts. transportation costs increase. Tariffs on automotive uh, i- imports may raise vehicle prices, affecting affordability. Given that transportation expenses constitute a significant part of household budgets, especially in Black communities, this could further strain financial resources. Employment and economic stability. Industries such as automotive, manufacturing, and retail, which employ a considerable number of Black workers, may experience downturns due to increased production costs and reduced consumer spending. This could lead to job losses and heightened economic instability within these communities. In summary, the recent uh, implementations are poised to exacerbate existing economic disparities, placing additional burdens on Black Americans through increased living costs and potential employment challenges. The new tariffs are expected to increase inflation by raising costs across multiple sectors. Higher prices for imported goods. Tariffs act like a tax on imports, making products from affected countries more expensive. Businesses often pass these extra costs to customers, driving up prices for goods like electronics, clothing, and household items. Increased costs for raw materials and production. Many industries rely on imported materials. Construction. Higher tariffs on lumber and steel could increase housing costs. Manufacturing. U.S. companies using imported parts may face higher production costs, leading to more expensive cars, appliances, and machinery. Rising food prices. Many food products, fruits, veggies, and seafood are imported. If tariffs increase their costs, grocery prices could rise, affecting food affordability for households. Supply chain disruptions. Supply chain disruptions. If businesses shift supply chains, y'all excuse the lawnmower shit in the damn background. Hold on, y'all. Still rock it out, knock it out. Still rock it out, knock it out. All right, here we go. Supply chain disruptions. If businesses shift supply chains to avoid tariffs, it could take time to raise logistic costs, adding to price inflation. Potential wage pressures. Workers may demand higher wages to keep up with rising living costs, further fueling inflation. Overall impact. Tariffs could add inflationary pressure, making everyday goods more expensive. The Federal Reserve may respond by keeping interest rates higher for longer, which could slow economic growth. The impact of tariffs on inflation will affect different income groups in distinct ways, with lower income households, parentheses, which include a disproportionately high percentage of Black Americans, bearing the highest burden. Here's the breakdown. Low income households, parentheses, most affected. Higher costs of essentials. Low income families spend large shares of their income on necessities like food, housing, transportation, and utilities, all which could see price hikes due to tariffs. Food insecurity. Tariffs on imported food could worsen affordability, especially in urban areas where fresh food is already expensive. Limited savings and buffer. Rising prices hurt more when budgets are tight. Unlike wealthier groups, low-income households have fewer financial reserves to absorb price increases. Number two, middle-class households, parentheses, moderately affected. Higher costs of durable goods. This group may struggle with rising prices on cars, home appliances, and electronics, which could delay major purchases. Mortgage, which is a dead pledge, mortgage, and rent pressure. If housing construction slows due to higher costs, middle class families may see rent increases or struggle with home affordability. Wage growth versus inflation. If wages don't rise as fast as inflation, their purchasing power will decline. Number three, high income households, least affected. More financial flexibility, higher income individuals can absorb increased costs more easily. Diversified assets, investments in stock, real estate, and commodities may hedge against inflation. Business owners may benefit. Some businesses could pass higher costs to customers, keeping profit margins intact. Who suffers the most? Black and Latino communities are at higher risk due to lower medium income, less ability to absorb higher costs, higher unemployment and wage disparities, less flexibility in managing financial shocks, food deserts and urban cost of living, increased vulnerability to food and transportation inflation. Long-term implications. Persistent inflation may lead to higher interest rates, making credit cards, loans, and mortgages more expensive. If inflation continues, the Federal Reserve could slow the economy further, risking job losses, which disproportionately impact Black and Latino workers. These are several ways individual communities and policymakers can mitigate the impact of tariffs and inflation, especially the Black and low income household. One, personal strategies, parentheses, what you can do, in parentheses. A smart budgeting and spending. Prioritize essential purchases. Focus spending on food, rent, preferably, you know, yeah, you don't have to. The object is to not pay rent, so that's why I got into alternative living, getting RVs and stuff that you can just own, and then if you get your, so we'll get on that on part two, and transportation. Buy in bulk and use discounts. Buy in bulk and use discounts. Well, shit, we all know, we should know that. Grandma and all them, we should know that, the old school. Start collecting them, get on Groupon and start collecting coupons when needed. And see, whatever. Warehouse clubs, like Costco and Sam's Club, and discount stores can help cut costs. Switch to affordable alternatives. Consider generic brands. I wouldn't, but consider generic brands, used cars, and secondhand goods. Yeah, that's cool. Make sure they holistic and natural too. Strengthen financial stability. Reduce high interest debt. Pay down credit cards to avoid rising interest costs. Build an emergency fund. Even small savings can cushion against price spikes. Look for inflation protected investments. Consider investments like Treasury inflation protected securities, TIPS tips. Explore side hustles and wage growth. Ask for a raise. Rising inflation means higher costs. Some employers may adjust salaries. Freelancing and gig work. Extra income from platforms like Upwork, DoorDash, or Airbnb, etc., can help offset higher expenses. Learn in-demand skills. Tech, healthcare, and trade jobs often pay well and offer job security. Community and business strategies. Support local and Black owned businesses. Shopping local can reduce dependency on imports and strengthen community wealth. Black-owned farms and food co-ops can help combat food deserts and high grocery prices. Advocate for worker protections. Support policies that raise the minimum wage to keep up with inflation. Put Push for union protections in industries affected by trade changes. Community-based financial programs. Credit unions and cooperative banking often provide better loan rates than big banks. Group buying programs. Some communities use bulk buying to negotiate lower prices. Policy level solutions. What government can do. Target financial assistance. Expand food assistance programs, SNAP, WIC, and help offset rising grocery prices. Increase housing subsidies or controls in cities facing high inflation. Protect small business grants and loans to Black entrepreneurs affected by supply chain issues. B, economic policies to manage inflation. Lower tariffs on essential goods like food, raw materials to produce inflation pressure, to reduce inflation pressure. Encourage domestic production. Okay. If they just come on and put the gold standard back on the fiat dollar, um, because it's inevitable. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna affect the US dollar eventually. So like I said, I don't know if you heard it, but you know what I'm saying, my sound went out. Um, if they need to negotiate with different countries like Burkina Faso or whoever has natural gold minerals and different things of that nature, so they can negotiate an amount that can first of all, they need to stop printing so many goddamn fiat dollars. However, we know they aren't. So and they need to be slow up, and they need to negotiate gold, silver, and different minerals from these different locations, or tap into the gold supply they already have to go ahead and put the gold standard back on the dollar. You see what I'm saying? They need to put some sort of mineral standard back on the dollar. So this will alleviate a whole lot of this shit that's going on. All right. Bitcoin and other alternative assets as a hedge. So um, oil prices may climb. So this is where you're going to see people doing more electric and more other type of means for vehicles. Trade disruptions could affect supply chains, impacting energy costs. And that's another reason why you see in different locations, you're seeing people with cars that run on water and all this other stuff. You don't want stuff like that because what? You know what I'm saying? Come on now, you gotta, you know what I mean? Investment strategy, small gold or crypto holdings can hit, or physical gold or silver or whatever have you, copper too. You know what I'm saying? Different minerals can hedge against a weaker dollar. All right. Energy sector stocks could benefit if oil prices rise. Final takeaway. Short term, higher interest rates strengthen the dollar, hurting stocks and bonds. Long term, economic slowdown could weaken the dollar, helping exporters and alternative assets like gold. Best moves, best moves now, best moves now. Diversify investments, reduce debt, reduce your debt. So this is not the space and the time to be tricking. This is not the space and the time to be spending frivolously, even if you got it, because you're supposed to be planning for the long term. Unless you got that nest egg already put up like that, or those savings and things already put up in position properly. See what I'm saying? So this is when you get them taxes, put it and invest it into short-term, mid-term, and long-term investments, residual and passive incomes, and diversify your portfolio. Get some rare coins. Get some cause you can get, I'll inbox me for where you can get those from. But diversify investments, reduce debt, reduce your debts, and protect savings from inflation. How the trade war started. The U.S. and China trade war began in 2018 under President, when the U.S. imposed tariff on Chinese imports to reduce the trade deficit and address concerns over intellectual property theft. Oh, so y'all want to address theft? This place over here want to address stealing? Isn't this damn something? It's a whole lot of addressing of stealing that we need to do. Like stealing a black town, stealing a land, all that, stealing of, trillions of dollars of generational wealth, stealing of, indigenous tribe lands and all of that, yeah, I'm just saying, yeah. So it's only right that, they going through this shit now, so, yeah. Concerns over intellectual property theft, or physical property theft, unfair subsidies, and forced technology transfers. China retaliated with its own tariffs, escalating tensions. Over the years, the Biden administration maintained many of these tariffs, but sought diplomatic negotiations. However, 2020 and 2025, President, announced new tariffs, intensifying the trade conflict once again. Key milestones in the trade war. 2018, the dude in the office now imposes tariffs on 50 billion of Chinese goods. Uh, China retaliates. That's 2018. This the time and space line. 2019 to 2020, tariffs expand to cover hundreds of billions of goods. Okay. 2020, U.S. and China sign a quote unquote phase one. Okay, trade deal, but China doesn't fully meet its purchasing commitments. 2022, 2024, tariffs remain remain in place under Biden, but relations uh, stabilize somewhat. 2025, got in the office, raises tariffs to 54% on Chinese goods. China retaliates with its own export restrictions on key materials. And you have to understand too, if you're an online person, and let's say you are expat and you're wherever you are, and you want to do online business and you want to mail products over here or over there or anywhere, it's going to affect shipping costs. It's going to affect, packaging costs. It's going to affect, you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, so just adjust as needed and adapt, be prepared ahead of time. What will end result in the few years? Long-term effects depend on several factors, including global economic shifts, political changes, and technological advancements. Here are three potential scenarios. Prolonged trade war, parentheses, most likely scenario. The U.S. and China continue tit for tat terror. I told you it's like some little children shit. It's like some children shit, fam. Look, I told you these other places see from the outside looking in, and they know the history of this place, and all of this stuff. You feel me? And so it's like they're gonna figure other routes to ship things. That's already in the making. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do a show on that. Tit for tat, causing higher prices for businesses and consumers. Um, companies move companies move supply chains to other countries. That means they're gonna leave over here, not even do business over this bitch. And then when you outsource to their ass, they're gonna have to hike the prices or whatever. Like Vietnam, Mexico. See, and so I'm saying, so the trade routes may start going in another direction instead of through whatever Mexico and India to avoid tariffs. So that's what I'm saying. It seem all right for the short term if you smart about your investing, if you're smart about your saving, if you're smart about your streams of income you create, if you're smart about stock investing and bonds and different passive incomes and minerals, as far as land and as far as coins and gold and silver and stuff. If you're just smart about that and just arrange your short-term, your mid-term, your long-term investments, just arrange those joints. You feel me? Your lump sum money, your mid-term money, and your little bit of money. You feel me? You need all those. You feel me? But you need multiple streams in all of those levels. You figure me? So with the small incomes, or the ones like the products and stuff like that, there may be like 20, 30, 40, $50 here and there. You see what I'm saying? You need those. You need a couple of streams in your small term, and like I said, the long term, and like I said, the short term. So make sure your long-term investment is something that you're not going to be pressed about. You see what I'm saying? You could just let it do what it needs to do. You see what I mean? You could just pretty much, like they say, forget about it. Economic slowdown occurs due to higher costs and lower trade activity. The dollar may weaken as global trade shifts away from U.S. influence. So that's what I was saying about the BRICS. Again, if they already doing the BRICS, why not just negotiate? Like, look, okay, we're gonna reform our dollar, redesign it, whatever. However they're gonna do it, we're gonna put the gold standard on the dollar. However they need to renegotiate to get the gold reserves back up. And they just need to, either they need to do it with Burkina Faso or they need to get with BRICS, man. I mean, It's just, again, it's just an inevitable thing that they just keep bullshitting around with, to be honest with you. All right, U.S. wins the trade war, less likely. China makes major trade concessions under U.S. pressure, reducing unfair practices. U.S. manufacturing rebuilds, creating jobs in steel, electronics, and energy. The dollar remains strong and inflation stabilizes. However, China could become more economically interdependent, reducing future reliance on U.S. markets. U.S. loses, U.S. losses or compromises. Alternative outcome, parentheses, is number 3. Uh, the economic plan becomes too great for the U.S., forcing tariff rollbacks. Like they say, sale rollbacks or rollbacks in stores and shit. Um, let me see. China strengthens alternative trade alliances such as BRICS. I didn't even see that. I didn't even see that right there. You know what I mean? We've been mentioning that. You know what I mean? Plus, we did a show on it. We did a show on the U.S. debt, part 1 and 2. Go check all of this stuff out. This is quality stuff. Please share. Please donate. Please make sure you subscribe. Turn on your notifications. Let's build up the platform. Let's build up this environment. If you would like to co-host or collaborate on a show, or collaborate on ideas, or collaborate on important pressing topics, if you would like to refer some topics, make sure you comment, inbox me, contact me on different topics and different things of that nature. Things I just probably didn't even get to right now, because it's like I said, there's so much stuff going on at once. So just, yeah, shoot me an email or an inbox or whatever have you. Okay, such as BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The US dollar loses some global dominance as more countries trade in Chinese yen. Final prediction, 2025 to 2030. This is when they said 2020 plan 2025, 2020, plan 2030. The trade war will likely continue for years with short-term inflation, market volatility, and economic realignment. So again, this is the time and space to really know economics, financial literacy, financial discipline. I'm not saying be cheap, but this is not the time and space. I'm not saying don't invest in your better stuff for you. Yes, be holistic, grow your own food and all of that. That can do a lot of cutting costs and things of that nature. I was saying do gardening co-ops and different things of that nature, gardening groups, all of that stuff going on, or align with stuff that's already created, or get your own group started. You know what I mean? And start investment groups. You see what I'm saying? Like a lot of people were doing in the quote-unquote conscious community. Do some susu groups. This is the time and space to be figuring out, grouping up, and getting some money and some capital built into the pot, and making some strategic investments in physical property, intellectual assets, and different things to position yourself, or just be completely sovereign and go that way. You see what I'm saying? So it's options, there's ways to go, but you got to still put in, you know what I mean? Yeah, you got to put in work. You hear me? Either direction. You feel me? Or just don't do shit and you still have to put in work. You see what I'm saying? So it's all gonna be work. Okay, U.S. companies will diversify supply chains, but won't fully return manufacturing home. The world economy may shift toward multipolar trade, where China the U.S. and emerging economies compete for dominance. All right, we about to wrap up, y'all. How the trade war affects jobs, wages, and industries. The ongoing tariff war will have major effects on employment, wages, and key industries in the US. Here's the breakdown. Jobs and unemployment. Who loses jobs? Retail and consumers. Consumer good workers. Tariff increase costs for imported products, clothing, electronics, appliances. If customers cut spending, retail jobs could decline. Manufacturing workers and export dependent industries. If China retaliates, industries that sell U.S. Goods abroad, like farming, automotive, and tech, could face job losses. Logistics and shipping. So if you're going to stay with these jobs, you need to adapt and adjust. You know what I mean? Really, really know what's going on ahead, man. Because you know what I mean. Because a lot of people just fall victim to things because of just not having the right data and not being informed and in preparation and applying. Logistics and shipping costs. I mean, shipping jobs and shipping jobs. Reduced trade means fewer shipments, affecting workers at ports. Remember that port strike? It wasn't even that long ago. I mean, okay, warehouses and freight companies. So warehouse workers, whatever have you. Who gains jobs? Domestic manufacturing workers. If companies bring production back to the U.S., jobs in steel, construction, construction materials, and electronics may increase. So make sure you need to learn some of these trades or whatever. If you're going to be, maybe switching up your job or diversifying your job or skill portfolio, trade portfolio, whatever have you. Energy and mining jobs. Tariffs could make U.S. energy and raw material production more competitive. Cyber security and tech jobs. If the U.S. reduces reliance on, Chinese technology, demand for domestic chip manufacturing and cybersecurity experts will rise. So these are some of the trade skill jobs and positions, you know what I mean, or things that you might want to refer to your young youth. Even I don't like, just listen, trust me, this will be enough money. This skill in this trade or these trades will be enough money and enough wage or whatever to fund any other idea you have, any other creative idea you have. You know what I mean? Any other humanitarian or anything else you want to do. Overall impact, short term, job losses in retail and trade heavy industries. Some gains in manufacturing, energy, and tech, but automation may limit the number of new positions. I did a show on AI, so you gotta check that out. I think it's part 1 and 2. Wage stagnation in low income industries, but possible wage increases in high demand sectors. Wages and cost of living. Inflation reduces purchasing power. Wages may not keep up with higher prices for food, housing, and transportation. Workers in essential industries like trucking. So truckers, I see a lot of people getting into that. You know what I'm saying? A lot more ladies and a lot more truckers that just, know what's going on. You know what I mean? Them shipments start slowing down. You know how to adapt and be ahead. Workers in essential industries like trucking, healthcare, and energy, they demand higher wages to keep up with rising costs. You got maintenance on the truck, your vehicle, and all of that stuff. Higher wages in manufacturing. If factories expand in the U.S., skilled workers in tech made and machinery could see pay raises. Key concern: if inflation outpaces wage growth, workers will struggle more, especially low income and middle class households. Industry breakdown. Winners. Domestic manufacturing, Higher tariffs may encourage more production in the U.S., benefiting industries like steel, semiconductors, and defense, energy, and natural resources. Tariffs on Chinese metal could boost demand for U.S. mining and drilling. Cyber tech and AI tech, cybersecurity and AI tech. You definitely, I will refer the young youth to cybersecurity. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of those, and it doesn't take them long to get, you know what I mean, certified. And if they do coding, especially coding, tell them they could do video games and stuff like that. You know what I mean? To kind of make it more relatable. You know what I mean? And animations, etc. Cybersecurity and AI tech. As the U.S. tries to reduce reliance on Chinese tech, local firms will hire more engineers. So make sure, you know, that's another trade, engineering, and security experts. So if you're already in engineering, you might want to ask for a pay increase. Losers. Retail and consumer goods, Walmart, Target, and Amazon, which a lot of people are seeing now, could face higher import costs, leading to job cuts. Automotive industry, cars rely on global supply chains. Tariffs on parts could increase car prices, lowering demand. So when you say, why is shit so high to goddamn just have a car, you know what I mean? It's going on, it's say trickle down effect. Agriculture and farming. If China retaliates by reducing the U.S. soybean, which is pork and corn purchases, American farmers could struggle. Final predictions: 2025 to 2030. More job losses than gains initially as companies adjust to higher costs. Tech, energy, and local manufacturing will see some job growth, but automation could limit large-scale hiring. Inflation will hurt real wages unless strong wage growth in key sectors offset it. The overall economy may slow, leading to higher unemployment risk and trade-heavy industries. All right, y'all. Here's another show for y'all. Hopefully you got some great knowledge out of this one and what you needed to go forward. Make sure you share. And we got more stuff coming up. Make sure you put on your notifications. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. And Cosmo 9 UV.